Story time for you all. I did a little poll over on TikTok asking newer gamers which game they were introduced to first. So like as a first game ever, what game their partners or their friends had them play. The answers were so interesting. Please leave me a comment with what games you were introduced to first or what games you introduced somebody to, especially if they might not have been the best idea, because the number of people who said Dark Souls was their first game ever is shocking. I'm honestly floored. So I talked in a previous video about what makes gaming difficult for newer gamers. And for context, I started gaming as an adult, so I've had to overcome some of these gaming barriers as well. The controls, complexity, costs, playtime, those can all be hindrances to newer gamers. And there are definitely people who commented that they started on more difficult games and kind of struggled their way through. And those can be really great learning experiences, particularly if you have someone very supportive and calm and understanding teaching you. There were a lot of other people that said that they started on a game that was really difficult and complex, and it made them stop gaming altogether. And this is something I really want to try to prevent, because coming from my own experience, trying games over like 8 years, I could have had this hobby so much sooner if I would have had more approachable games. So I have a list of a few games that I would recommend to true beginner gamers. These are inexpensive, available on multiple platforms, and have accessible controls. I also feel like these are good intro games to teach new players about gaming in bite-sized ways. So if you're a new gamer, this one's for you. If you're not a new gamer, this one is for you. I do not want you introducing your mom to Dark Souls, so here we go. Starting off strong with Cozy Grove. I think this one is a great option for a beginner gamer. A lot of people said that Animal Crossing was their first game, which I do think is a great option if you have access to a Switch. But in terms of cost and platform availability, Cozy Grove is a great alternative. In Cozy Grove, you play as a spirit scout on a haunted island. You befriend spirits, decorate the island, and bring color back to the world. You play this one in real time, so days pass in the game as days pass in real life. The story is really sweet, and I loved the characters and the gameplay in this. I personally liked this one more than Animal Crossing. The gameplay is quest-based, so I think it's a bit more focused and gives you things to do every day. Animal Crossing felt more open-ended, which can be difficult for newer gamers who might need a bit more direction to figure out what to do next. In Cozy Grove, the gameplay is slow and relaxing, and there really isn't a rush to do anything. There's also so much to do on the island, and you can really tailor your gameplay to what you like to do. The 2D graphics in a 3D world take away any camera controls, so the navigation is very easy. And the game teaches you inventory management, upgrades, story versus side quests, and does so in a chill and approachable way. I think this is a really good option for a newer player who wants a life sim that can be played over many, many days. After I finished Florence, I just wanted to share it with every person I knew. It's a short interactive novel game that is just amazing. You play as a young woman, Florence, who falls in love with Krish, a cello player. This game takes you through their relationship as they grow together and apart and find their passions in life. The story is relatable and moving and beautifully told. The game is so well crafted that you truly feel the experiences of the characters without the game having to say a word. The controls and gameplay of this game makes it so really anyone can play. The gameplay is done in simple and meaningful mini games, which work out very well with the touch controls. With the availability on mobile, this game can be played anywhere. It's quite a short experience, which I think can actually be really beneficial for new gamers, given that there's not a big time commitment and you can finish it in one sitting. I know people are hesitant when spending money, particularly on mobile games, so that could be a barrier with this game. Florence is one of my favorite games, and I think that it's totally worth the cost. And because of its shorter length, I think that this is an easy one to share. So you can bring this game on your phone to your next family gathering and have someone you love experience the entire game. I think Florence is a great game to give that moving narrative experience that often comes with longer games in a more concise experience. So as a new gamer, I am very late to the party on Life is Strange. I finished this one last week. I had a bunch of comments that this was a good beginner game, and I agree. You play as Max, a high schooler who has the power to rewind time. So you use your power throughout the game, and you can make different choices and prevent things from happening. This game is slower and has such a great narrative that it feels very similar to a movie. It has a lot of cutscenes and great storytelling, so I feel like this is a familiar type of entertainment for people who are newer to games. This one does have look controls which can be difficult to newer players, but I feel like this one is a very low stakes game and can be a great way to learn those look controls. The great part about this game is that you can rewind time, so the decisions that you make and the time limits that you have can generally be rewound. I loved the slower pacing of this game, along with the full world with lots to discover and explore. The story is incredible and has such a good build-up that I think this is a great intro to gaming as a storytelling medium. Oxenfree is another great intro game if you like things that are creepy, because this has a spooky horror film kind of vibe, and I definitely would not have been ready for it when I was first gaming. I might have had nightmares about this one, but I think it's a great choice if you do like the Stranger Things type vibe, because it has a great story, such beautiful environments, and choices matter. This is a supernatural mystery adventure where you're following a bunch of teenagers who are trapped on an island overnight. You're trying to survive all the creepy things that are happening and make it off the island alive. The art for this one is amazing and the storytelling is so good, I did not want to stop playing even though it creeped me out. The 2D world makes this a very easy environment to traverse, and it has light platforming and puzzles to get newer players used to these mechanics. Your choices in the game matter, and it will determine who makes it off the island alive. This introduces newer gamers to narrative choices and how different dialogue options can impact the story. Oxenfree is an older game, so it's quite affordable and it's available on all platforms. It's a great intro mystery game for anyone who wants a creepy story that you won't want to stop playing. It's shocking to me how many people had never gamed before, and their intro to gaming was a first-person shooter online with their partner. And on top of that, people were saying that they were made to feel bad because they didn't know what they were doing. These types of competitive situations are not a great environment to learn game controls for the first time. So my proposed alternative is Slime Rancher. This has some elements of a first-person shooter as well as a farming sim and is very low stakes. I think this is a great game to get used to the look controls and the mechanics that are generally seen in first-person shooter games, but in a chill environment. You explore the world while collecting slimes, and you bring them back to your ranch where you keep, breed, and take care of them. It introduces elements of exploration, inventory management, upgrading and managing your ranch, and camera controls. That being said, I do think that this title will be too advanced for some players. There are a lot of things to do in this game, and the exploration and objectives are pretty open, so it could potentially be overwhelming. I also don't want to underestimate how difficult look controls can be for a new player, particularly on a controller. So these are definitely things to think about when you're starting this game or introducing it to a newer player. But I do think that it's a good low-key alternative to just jumping headfirst into a competitive first-person shooter. Also, Slime Rancher is so cute and lots of fun, so definitely up there with some of my favorite games. If you want a chill intro into open world games, I love Alba, a wildlife adventure. You play as a little girl who is trying to save the wildlife preserve on the island that her grandparents live on. You go around the island doing all these little tasks like cleaning, fixing things, and taking photos of animals. The story itself is really wholesome, and I think this is a good one for gamers of all ages. In terms of an open world, I think this game has a really good balance of being open and giving you lots of different things to do, as well as giving you some direction with the objectives. This is a great introduction to story and side quests and gives you a bit of the taste of the beauty of filling out a compendium. In addition to the story-specific tasks, there is so much to do and explore on the island. You can really take your time with this game, and overall, I feel like it's a great, small, and manageable open world. This one does have look controls as well, so that might be difficult for newer gamers. I've played this one on both PC and iPad, and I've loved them both. The touch controls on the iPad are very accessible, and I feel like that makes it quite approachable for newer gamers. Alba, A Wildlife Adventure is such a beautiful story and wonderful experience, and such a good open world for someone looking for a concise experience. If you're just looking for a fun and lighthearted experience, Rain on Your Parade is a silly pick-up-and-play game. You play as a temperamental cloud, wreaking havoc on everyone around you. Use rain, lightning, and wind to destroy as much as you possibly can in each level. For each little chapter, you have a checklist of things to do. I think this is a great intro into game objectives and frames it in a way that is straightforward and low pressure. Many of the objectives are optional or give you cool bonuses like hats and accessories. Also, you can replay each level as much as you want, so it makes it a very low stakes game. I love the game mechanics in this one, and I feel like they're very simple and easy to learn. Having the 2D movement controls means that you don't need to adjust the camera, which I feel like is always beneficial for newer gamers. There are some little puzzle bits and hidden objectives, and overall, this is just such a fun and lighthearted experience. I also love that you can play this game in smaller bits whenever you want. Games are really about having fun, and when you're a newer gamer and so focused on getting the controls right, it can become more difficult or stressful. I feel like Rain on Your Parade just lightens the mood overall. I was smiling the entire time I was playing it. I love the whole vibe of this game. Gaming is truly for everyone. It's such a wonderful form of entertainment and storytelling medium that everyone should have access to. I do hope to create a welcome and open space for newer gamers to come and explore some of the wonderful things that gaming has to offer. The games that I've talked about are fantastic no matter your gaming skill and can be a great jumping off point for anyone looking to get into this hobby. Make sure to subscribe for more game recommendations and beginner tips. I'll see you next time, and happy gaming!